a little bit of a late start. I certainly want to thank everybody for taking some time out of their lovely day to spend some time with us and talk a little more about View the Future and your input, which we really appreciated, to our community and stakeholder surveys that we sent out as part of a strategic planning process that we are undergoing. I'll introduce myself and then we'll go around the horn, so to speak, and have everybody say who they are and a little bit about their background. My name is John Theilacker, and I am co-chair of the board of directors of View the Future. I've been living in Yachats now for about 3 years, and I've been on the board of View the Future roughly 2 years. I have a background in land conservation, and so obviously when moving to Yachats in the Oregon coast, I was very, very excited about the work that View the Future was doing and had been doing for almost 2 decades. And so decided to throw in my hat and offer some of my expertise to help out with the future growth and accomplishments for View the Future. So I'll turn it over to Joanne to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Joanne Cattell, and I think Jeff and Dave know me. I'm been a Yachats resident full time for 30 years and have had my property for 36. I've been involved with View the Future since practically its inception, 19 years. I think I did say I'm co-chair with John, and we're in the middle of a strategic plan, having the superlative and generosity of Deb Merchant, who's also here. So I'll pass it on from there.
Okay, Betty?
Hi, I'm Betty Perman. I've been on, I'm a board member on View the Future, and I help out on web page and social media kind of stuff. And I've been a full-time resident in Yachats for 13 years now, and had a vacation place probably almost 10 years beyond that. I'm a member of View the Future because I care deeply about our environment, our community, and like John mentioned, I've been so impressed with what View the Future has done in the past that it was an exciting opportunity to get involved with the future of it. So that's probably enough for me. Go to Sherry.
Yeah.
Hi, Sherry Dickinson here. I've lived in Yachats 15 years, the majority of it full time. And I joined View the Future because I am concerned about the future and I don't want to leave this area in worse shape than I found it.
And we're glad that she feels that way. It's absolutely. Dean.
Yes, Dean Peterson, treasurer. Yeah, I got a finance background. Back in the day, Yachats used to have a bank, and that's where I was employed and branch manager, and that's how I got involved with View the Future. And now that the bank is gone, still involved and still love it and glad to be a part of it.
Thank you, Dean. Michael.
Yeah, my name's Mike Hempen, and board members for 7 years, lived in Yachats for 8 years. Love the idea of conserving our land. Every time I look at the view shed over on the south side of town, I'm reminded what View the Future is all about. Not just protecting our view, but our watershed. And I can't think of a better place to volunteer and participate other than View the Future. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. So, Deb, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi there, I'm Deb Merchant, and I was born and raised in Oregon. have not lived in Yachats, but I was introduced to Yachats and View the Future by a very dear friend of mine who lived there for many years. And I got to know Joanne through that special friend. And at the bridge ceremony last year, we connected a little more closely. And so I've been doing some work for View the Future and its strategic planning that we hope to complete in another 4 to 6 weeks. And needless to say, the survey that you completed and your participation today is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Deb.
And Liz, you're on mute.
Oh.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, Liz. Can you hear us? She's not pictured, but she's here. Liz,
Okay.
yeah, we'll try to get back to her later.
Oh,
Jim-
there she is.
Oh, there she is.
Okay, hi, I'm actually a little bit sick, but I wanted to call in and just listen. My name is Liz Bird. I'm a new member. I just joined a few months ago. I'm also passionate about conserving the environment. I've lived in Yachats for about 5 years. And I'm very excited about the opportunity to work with View the Future.
Great. Thank you, Liz. We hope you're feeling better soon.
Yeah.
So can we hear from our, I believe, 2 members, either Jeff or Dave, is it? Do you want to introduce yourselves?
This is Dave. First
Yeah,
moved out to
introduce
the
myself.
Oregon.
I'll actually try and start the video if it'll allow me to, but
First moved out to the Oregon.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
Okay, I'm hearing myself in the background then. Dave Powell
Okay.
moved out to the Oregon
I'm
coast
hearing
the
myself in the
start
background
of
Jeff, I think
December
you need to-
2015.
Turn your speaker off.
we're okay.
I'm not sure that I am on speaker.
No, Dave, you go ahead. I think it was Jeff that we had.
Okay, moved out in December of 15. I actually first connected with Yachats with the walking group, the Coastal Gems, and then ran into VTF doing some trail work and been there doing that since probably
Oh,
mid-2016.
excellent. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Jeffrey.
All right. Well, I'm Jeff Bowles. I'm actually, I guess I'm a little bit different. I live in Walport. I have for the past, 8.5 years. My grandparents moved to Walport back in late 70s. And so not a stranger to the area, but I work at Angel Job Corps. And I'm kind of affiliated with View the Future through Joanne and some of the projects that Angel Job Corps has done on behalf of the organization. So I'm here just to listen, to see what support Angel's able to provide. I'm actually in a new role now, so I'm not affiliated with the trades anymore, more on the administrative side of the house, but more than happy to see what I can do to help coordinate different projects that the organization may need.
Jeff, what is your role administratively now with the Job Corps? Yep, you're frozen. Oh, yeah, there you go.
It was kind of freezing a little. So say that one again.
Oh, what is your administrative role now with the Job Corps?
What is your administrative role now with the Job Corps?
Right now, I am the administrative officer. So I manage the center's budget, student travel, student pay, completely different than what I was doing before.
Okay.
Right.
Well, yeah, I know both Jeff and Dave.
Well, yeah, I know both Jeff and Dave.
And I've worked with Jeff for close to those 20 years.
And I've worked with Jeff for close to those 20 years.
And with Dave, we've been partners in
And
church
with
for a long
Dave,
time.
we've been partners in church for a long time.
Jeff, we seem to be getting, I don't know, we're getting an echo, I think, Jeff, on
Jeff,
your.
we seem to be getting, I don't know, we're getting an echo, I think.
Or whatever.
There you go. That works.
Okay.
Yeah, much better. Hopefully you can still hear us and still talk as well. But we thank you both. Just so you know, we have a total of 13 board members. We are all volunteer, no staff. The other board members that aren't here today include Jock Doss, Michael Guerrero, Sam Hillman, Jesse Dolan. You heard from Liz, Wei Radomski, and Catherine Gunther, who's on temporary leave. But we have a very active group of volunteers. I guess I should say, fortunately, many of us are retired. And so we're able to spend a bit more time, perhaps, than some of our younger board members in terms of handling the day-to-day operations that are required to continue the success of our land trust. Although certainly Joanne has spent a lot of time in terms of handling our day-to-day operations, our education and outreach, our relations with 2 coastal tribes. So a lot going on in terms of our activity. I don't know, Joanne, you want to talk a little bit about our sort of current focus in terms of a potential land acquisition?
Well, we are actually View the Future historically was created by Andrea Sharp for one purpose, and that was to acquire a large piece of property that bordered the southwest side of Yachats, just south of the river. And that's been an ongoing process. The primary delay has been that it kept changing owners. In fact, since I've lived here, there's been 10 owners of that property. And so we've never given up on that. And we've recently partnered with Mackenzie River Trust, and we're still going at it to both find a way to buy it and find a takeout owner. So I would say that's our biggest project right now. But at the same time, we are always soliciting with private landowners if they would be interested in doing conservation easements. We have 5 such conservation easements right now, and those are, if you don't know what conservation easements are, they are where a private landowner voluntarily puts part or all of his property in some type of preservation. It can be along a part of it along the river. It can be to still do forest management and forest cutting, but not clear cutting, select cutting, and other forms of conservation and preservation for their property. And such agreements that they make are legal agreements that are filed with their clerk's office, goes with their deed, and it's in perpetuity. And View the Future's role is to help educate them about it, help them go through the process of creating one, and then we become the holders of that easement. In other words, we're the enforcers of it. And a number of land conservation organizations do exactly that. And we have my properties in one. We have the Bryan property that's on the north side of the 804 trail. We have the entire Grimman Botanical Preserve, which includes a public trail. We have a piece of property that is allowing a public bridge to go across it, part of the Stark Creek trail system. And we have a property up the Yachats River Road. Theirs is a very limited easement, but a very important one in which they don't allow a private third party to build a road through to log an important piece of property that is preserving part of the Yahats watershed. So those are, and we're always interested in educating people more about that. As you know, Jeff, and you know, Dave, we also help fund recreational trails. And Job Corps has always been a very important part of that from the very beginning of the Amanda Trail in 1996, when they created the federal side of Amanda. They continue to help both the city of Yahats and Yahats Trails crew, and through the urban forestry department. And they've also, their carpentry department has built a fence on the Prospect Trail. It's been a wonderful, warm partnership. Also a lot of fun too. We just couldn't get along without Job Corps. And then Dave has always been working on the trails with us, or pulling invasives. And so we partnered usually with the city of Yahats, but we have partnered with state parks, federal forest service in terms of trail capital projects. We write the grants, get the donations. And we're soliciting donations for a boardwalk in Yahats, which is part of the Oregon Coast Trail.
Yep. Thank you, Joanne. That's excellent. I guess Jeff or Dave, obviously, we're interested either in questions that you have of us, or if you wanted to expand upon any recommendations that you provided as part of responding to the survey, or from anything that you've heard here, if anything that you wanted to share with us, we can have some good dialogue on that. So I'll invite either of you to.
Okay, here's Jeff.
Well, Dave here. One of my main things has been the Oregon Coast Trail. Almost have the entire thing Garmin marked, distances measured, and things like that. So having that safe walkway there on whatever street that is, First or whatever, is a continuation of that for me. And since I also work with Trail Keepers of Oregon, I know that it was maybe 4 years ago, maybe 5, that we went through the one day working with the Siuslaw people, and all of us ended up with those nice Sasquatch shirts for working that day. And I was curious if we were going to ever be working with Siuslaw again on perhaps the trails. Amanda's to start with, and perhaps maybe some of the other trails.
Yeah, I got one of those Sasquatch t-shirts too. In fact, Trails is Bob Langley with Trails has connected with the executive director of TKO just at a training last week or 2 weeks ago, and talking about doing some conjoint projects.
Yeah, I was going to say, last I heard was we're supposed to get a new Central Coast coordinator. I think it's June 1st.
Yes.
So.
For Siuslaw National Forest, is that what, or for TKO?
TKO.
That's for TKO.
Okay.
About a week and a half ago, we got a brand new person for the North Coast. So hopefully we'll have 3 coordinators covering the coast this year.
Okay. Cool. Okay. And so you do extend Central Oregon. Okay. So Dave, I guess if I could ask you a question I don't think it's off topic, but it's certainly within our region. So do you know why the China Beach Loop Trail has been closed for so long? Just curious if you're aware of that from.
I was down the China Loop. I was down the China Beach for the Oregon Coast Trail last fall.
Right.
And got it pretty well Garmin marked. So I'm guessing if it's closed right now, it's probably because trees down. There's some trees that have closed a couple of the trails up in the northern part. Trying to remember whether it's Cape Lookout or I know they lost the bridge there at Oswald West at Nikani Creek. And I know there's, I think it's in Ecola that they have one of the trails down because of trees also. So
Okay.
it's that time of year until they get those trees cut out, the trails are closed.
Okay, well, Yep.
Yeah, actually, I think the China Creek is closed because the bridge is out. There's one part of the trail is still open, but there's a bridge that crosses the creek, and it's sort of sinking down water.
Oh, you're talking China Creek down there at
Car Washburn. Car Washburn.
down at Washburn.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking China Creek all the way down to Samuel Boardman.
No,
No, not that far south, Dave.
Well, I'm sorry. You know, I've done trail with TKO all the way from Ecola all the way down through Samuel Boardman. So
right.
I was doing work down there at Samuel Boardman around China Creek down there last fall, back in September and October. So
Okay.
I'm not sure why China Creek is closed. I was hoping to perhaps maybe get down through that area sometime in about the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. Well, and I don't mean to belabor, and Liz, I've sort of thought the same thing, that there was a bridge out that was keeping that loop closed. Although,
I've been down there, and it is. I mean, it looks like you could sink into the river. I mean, you could maybe get across, but obviously they don't want people to try.
right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
Excuse
once
me,
it dries
Liz.
out, the river will be lower, so it'd be easier.
Liz, is it the fiberglass bridge?
I don't know what it's made of, but it's sort of like a temporary bridge. It doesn't have arches on each side. It's sort of, I don't know. It kind of looks like I don't know what it's made of, but it's sort of sinking down on one side, and doesn't
Okay.
look like it needs to be fixed for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean to belabor that, but I was just curious. And it was actually something that I didn't know whether, you know, at some point in the future, whether View the Future might have some opportunity to help state parks if they're low on staff or low on resources, that, you know, we or, you know, a crew from, you know, Yachats City Trails or whatever might be able to help. But, you know, Dave, obviously that's something that your group, you know, specifically focuses on. So.
Yeah, I was going to say up at Cascade Head, that little footbridge over the little creek there to go to Hart's Cove has been down for years. But then again, we finally opened that northern part of the trail over Highway 101 about 3 years ago. So, I mean, trails go down, and we try to rebuild them back up.
Right. Right.
Well,
So, go ahead.
Jeff just left some notes here that they're still trying to hire your replacement, Jeff. That's really good to know. And that, yeah, I can understand that after being closed for so long, a lot of your trades are booked up for a year or more on projects. And sometimes those projects can be squeezed in. So we'll keep that in mind. And also I'll convey that to the Yachats trail leaders as well. But that's one thing for View the Future to keep in mind, because with possible conservation easements and acquisitions, that if we need help from Angel, like the Scott lot, for example, I'm thinking of, we will then have to maybe schedule that a year in advance and see if it's an appropriate project for the Job Corps Urban Forestry Program. So thank you, Jeff, for that information.
Great idea. Yep. Great idea. Great idea. Yep. Great idea.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to minimize the feedback, and I figured I'd just type.
Thank you.
But one other thing that I do need to mention that's very important is when it comes to projects with Angel Job Corps, we are not allowed to do any work on private property. It has to be government or nonprofit.
Yes.
So I wanted to mention that's a very important thing. So if, you know, if work is required on private property, we have to respectfully decline, because that would violate the rules that we are governed by.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't something I was aware of.
Yeah, that's very important. So Job Corps can work on my property because of the irrevocable easement. And so State Parks owns that, so that's legitimate. But they can't work on other parts of my property unless I hire the students on weekends.
So they could not, even if we held the easement, they could not do sort of easement work for our nonprofit as long as it was on private property. For our nonprofit, as long as it was on private property.
That's correct. It would have to be in the name of a government agency or the nonprofit agency for us to be able to do work.
Okay.
Yeah, so they can't work on let's see, gosh,
Well, they couldn't work on the Scott.
botanical preserve. They can't work on the except on the public trail. They can work on the
Right.
public trail, but not outside of that. But they can work on the Bryan property because the county owns it.
Mhm.
They can work on the Scott lot because as a nonprofit, we own it.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so so even if you have an easement on private property, they can't work on that
They
private
can't
property.
work on that private property. Right. Gotcha. That's
So I'm
good to
glad you
know.
brought that up, Jeff. That's good
Yeah.
information for us.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I ask a question of each of our guests?
Oh, sure.
Please.
Okay, so Jeff, I'll have you keep yours on mute until you're ready. Maybe Dave, we'll start with you, but essentially the same question. In the framework of a strategic plan, one of the most important elements is to better understand how the organization can be of value to the community. That's in and of itself the purpose of a nonprofit entity. It's a community value. And so my question for each of you, and Dave, we'll start with you first if we can. If an individual in town were to walk up to you and say, hey, I've heard about this group, View the Future. What do you know about that organization? What would you tell that individual?
I would tell them that they were very involved in making sure that people were able to use the trails in the city of Yachats. That they also are involved in a few projects that have made it safer, and will continue to do some projects that will make it safer for people to go walking on the trails in the future, like that project there on First Street. And also that they are involved in making sure that some of the properties stay open so that it will be available for the general public and not be closed off for private use. That would be my three main points.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything, Dave, that you think View the Future could do better or expand on? In other words, what kind of gaps are there that need filled within the community? And that also, given View the Future's mission, is there a role for the organization there?
You know, as I go walking back towards the Gerdeman Gardens, there's a bunch of wooded land up to the east of it. You know, trails could go running up into there, assuming that it was public land or easements were there to go ahead and to increase the trails back into that area. And I would think that perhaps maybe even on not on Joanne's property, but back there in the parks area, that even the Amanda Trail could perhaps get expanded back with a couple more spurs back in there so people would have more trails to go walking on.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, like that.
So Jeff, I'll call on you for the same thing. If you can tell us what you might convey to others that don't already know about View the Future. What kind of community value
That
does
don't
the
already
organization
know about
provide?
View the Future. What kind of community value does the organization provide?
I would have to say that the most valuable part of it is the partnership aspect. You know, View the Future is in the business of conservation and being able to provide public recreation. whereas Angel is in the business of student training, but also in conservation. And so the partnership that we can develop together to boost both organizations, I think is extremely valuable. You know, we're trying to help these young people gain values in employability, life skills, to get careers and jobs so that they're productive members of society. So being able to have this partnership, we're creating a better future, not just for our community, but for, well, what spans beyond our community.
Mhm.
And what would you say about how VTF can potentially do a better job or fill some gaps that the community currently has?
Advertise more, get the word out of what View the Future is really about. I mean, Joanne knows this quite well as far as, you know, Angels Community Relations Council. Angel is trying to get the word out as to what we are, what we do, you know, spread the word on that. But I think the same could be said about View the Future. Get the word out to the community. You know, I find it interesting that all we have in this meeting, for the most part, is folks from Yachats. We need to expand more. We need folks from Yachats. What about folks from Newport, Florence? Expand out to other communities, Toledo. I mean, recreation is for everybody, not just a specific town.
Mhm.
Perhaps a little advertising may assist. And you know, Joanne, you know, Max is really good about that.
Yeah.
It may be something that he'd be willing to jump on to assist.
Oh, thank you. That's a good point. That's a real great point. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good point.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, and perhaps, Jeff, this is Dave. I am from Newport on the north side of Communication Hills, so it at least reached me. But like I said, the reason I found out about BTF was first the walking club there at Yachats, the Coastal Gems. That's when I first ran across the Amanda Trail and the other little trails there in the community.
Yep.
Definitely good to know that. I mean, my interaction with you know, View the Future is with Joanne and the Amanda Trail. Other than that, I have never seen any advertising or anything other about it. It's just strictly what I know internally.
That's interesting. Yep. Very helpful.
Well, I'll do another article for the Oregon Coast today, probably on my Dave's Detours off the Oregon Coast Trail again. So I try a little bit.
And I'm just curious, one last question for each of you. How did you find out about the surveys and what prompted you to participate? Dave?
Well, I got noticed because of the fact that I'm there on probably maybe a dozen to 15 of the trail and or the invasive plant work days. So it showed up in my email.
Great. How about you, Jeff? How did you learn about it, the survey?
Actually, I was sent an invite for the survey, and knowing that View the Future is connected with the Amanda Trail, I thought it was well worth completing and seeing what I can do to assist. And then if I can just put in an extra plug, as far as the advertising part, has anyone considered radio advertising? I listen to a local country station every day that advertises for the coastal community. And I believe it's free. So it's a thought.
Mhm.
Oh, do you know what the number is or the letters are for that Western radio station, Jeff?
I want to say it's like 97.3.
Okay.
I don't, or 96.3 or something like that. It's 90 something, but I know that they deal with advertisement along the coast.
Okay.
I can't recall the actual station number, but I've got my radio set to it, and that's what I listen to every morning.
No, yeah.
So
and
It's a thought.
no,
Yeah.
that's good. FM?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, FM.
Yeah. okay.
Yeah, I would assume it'd be FM.
Yes, yeah, FM.
Yeah. Dave, I have a
And
question for you.
and I might say that
ahead.
you might be able to go ahead and get on the community calendar and have it broadcast for our work days on KYAQ. KYAQ, the independent one. Was in Toledo, it's now moved into Newport.
KYAQ.
Yep.
Okay,
Bill Dolby.
okay. Dave, I have a question for you. Sort of thinking long-term, as the Oregon Coast Trail, the gaps continue to be filled in with the Oregon Coast Trail. And I assume as it increases in popularity amongst hikers from all over, I mean, what could View the Future do, to sort of prepare for that, or to take advantage of that trail, or, to help make it a success, I guess. I mean, do you have any thoughts in that regard in terms of what we should be thinking about long-term?
Number one, at the rate that the state is going, the Oregon Coast Trail will never be finished. No, seriously. The Oregon Coast Trail started the same as the Buckeye Trail in Ohio, which was supposed to go from Lake Erie down to the Ohio River and roughly run 300 miles. It ended up becoming a loop just inside the border of Ohio, which made it about 1,200 miles. They finished, and I'm going to say that they were pretty well finished within about 15 years. Of course, they kept adding in sections where they took off a section of road because there was a back trail that they used. Officially, they finished 35 years ago. And a large part of the Buckeye Trail, especially from the Middle Eastern all the way around to the Western, is considered part of the Great Northern Trail now. It has been set, it has been fixed, it has been there for decades. There is pieces of the Oregon Coast Trail that I'm pretty sure that the Oregon Parks and Recreation don't even remember that they had. I go walking on sections of trail where there are Oregon Coast Trail posts, there are wooden bridges, footbridges that they put in that are not even on the trail anymore. And considering the fact that the southern part of the state, especially around Arizona Beach, is sliding, and they may move Highway 101 in off of the ocean, who knows what's going to happen with the Oregon Coast Trail down there. So at this point, I'm pretty well fixed that it'll never be finished in my lifetime, even if I live another 20 years. As far as the numbers of people on it, you can count on your fingers and toes the number of people who actually do it, the entire trail in a year. Mm-hmm. Most of it is done on day hikes, like in Connie Soper's book. It's day hikes to do sections. She hasn't done her books, has not revised it since 2015. I'm not sure if she'll ever revise it. But don't expect huge crowds of people. It'll just be here a straggler, there a straggler, maybe 2 or 3 people hiking together as a group. But it's not going to be big numbers unless things radically change.
Okay, good to know. I appreciate that.
And as a hiker, I find that highly discouraging, especially because the Pacific Crest Trail is so fire damaged almost every year anymore. This should have been done decades ago. They should have bought out some land so that some of those gaps didn't exist, but they keep fooling around with it. And like I said, I don't think it'll ever get done.
Okay. Well, thank you. I figure you'd know as well as anybody, so appreciate that.
Yeah, well, when you see a person hiking along Highway 101 in Samuel Boardman because he fell down, because they actively rooted him into an active landslide on the state map, and they hadn't corrected it, even if you'd have checked that Sam Boardman, that section of trail was closed. I mean, that tells you that's not anywhere in the state's priority. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was a guy who had done Appalachian Trail twice and Pacific Crest once.
Good grief.
And he's walking Highway 101.
All right. Well, anything else that either of you wish to add? We don't want to keep you any longer than you're willing to be.
Well, my CERT meeting's about ready. My CERT meeting's about ready to start, so I'll go ahead and say goodbye. And like I said, keep up the good work. Like I said, more trails. We've been doing work to make sure that the trails are safer, make sure that that section along that first street or whatever that is right there next to the river to make it safer for pedestrians. And I'll be happy as a clam to be down there as many first and third Saturdays as possible. So take care, y'all.
Appreciate
All right.
you.
Thank you and bye.
Thanks,
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks,
Thank
Dave.
you, Dave.
And Jeff, yes, we are talking about, we have to get the word out in different ways than what we have had. Certainly radio is an option. Some time ago, like with the peace hikes and when we used to do National Trails Day and get involved in that, we would go on the radio, but we haven't gone on the radio for, gosh, even before COVID. I mean, and that's something we could get back to. I think we'd always be welcome in Newport. You talked about advertising, Jeff, on the radio. Yeah, I think that's a really good point. You know, we could have been on the radio for the dedication. We just didn't think about that.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Great
thank you.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I immediately thought about a young man who's in my world, a recent OSU master graduate soil scientist, and he's now engaged with, I think, Douglas County SWCD, and in the process of promoting a particular event that's coming up in May, he was interviewed by the local radio station, but it was also recorded on Zoom. And so Scott and I were able to watch and listen. And of course, other people who were listening to the radio got to hear all about it, but he provided about a 15 or 20-minute interview. And it was just fascinating what we learned about soil and its importance to our day-to-day lives, not just trees and plants and food, but we actually got a real live education from this young guy in pretty short order. And it was very fun to watch and listen to him during that radio experience. He had a great time. So that's a great suggestion, Jeff.
Good.
Excellent. Well, Jeff, anything more to add or any final questions? Otherwise, we can let you go. We can let you go.
I would say just continue doing the great work that you guys are doing. And one of these days, I will actually go on the Amanda Trail and hike the whole thing.
Oh, I'm looking forward to
It's
you
on my
doing
bucket
that.
list. I will do that.
Oh, that
I'm
would be
looking forward to you
wonderful.
doing that.
You could always start at the top and work your way down. That's a little easier.
You can always start at the top and work your way down. That's a little easier.
No, I'll take it the hard way. I'll do it from start to finish, but I will do it the hard way. Yeah, I've got to do it. I've got to
Right.
do it. So,
Wonderful.
That's
but
excellent.
just keep doing the great work that you guys are doing, and know that it's appreciated by the community. It's appreciated by our tourists. It's important work and needs to continue.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your support. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll see you at the advisory board meeting very soon.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
night.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Deb.